you go by? Do you go by the was it the I am LA or like what's
LA Radio Now is the LA Radio Now is actually my radio station. I started about 3 years back here in Los Angeles, and that's the YouTube channel that I have.
Okay.
And the podcast beyond, and then LA Media Now Studios is something we're looking to open. Hey everybody, what's going on? You catch us in the conversation. That's how we do the show. Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet Them. I'm Troy Rawlings, and today, we'll get back to our conversation. Today I have the pleasure of having an actual real life guru when it comes to life and pushing the envelope and living every day to its fullest, and family man, entrepreneur, surf god.
That's true.
The one and only Mr. Brian Swan. What's going on? Can I call you Swan?
Well,
I call you Swan? The family calls you Swan. I don't know if you...
They call me Swan, Swano, the unstoppable surfer, whatever you want to call me on that. You know, now I'm a 46-year-old bearded wizard that surfs. And it's going to be in like the 15 to 20 foot range just out behind me here tomorrow. So I'm going to be going big tomorrow. So I appreciate you having me on here, Troy. And so it's afternoon, 2 o'clock my time. It's what, 11 o'clock back in LA?
11:30 p.m. in Los Angeles. A beautiful, almost 2:30 p.m. They're right. They're in Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia. It's gorgeous out there, man. Your spread is gorgeous. You can't fully see the ocean. It looks like light and gray, but if he moves out, you see how it blues. It almost blends into the sky.
Yeah, you know, and it's one of the most spectacular ones. We're up about a couple hundred meters up on the cliff, and there's like 4 world-class surf breaks right behind me. And so what I mean by world, I mean they're like the top of the top. Think of like the North Shore of Hawaii, but this is like the Southern Hemisphere. This is like the most coveted spot to go. So I'm living in my perfect day. Like there's no other spot that I'd really want to be here during.
So all right, I told you we kind of Quentin Tarantino the interviews. I'm giving him a little too much props in my show, but I go back and forth. I want to go back before I even get into the thing of how you got into surfing. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from 3 hours west of Chicago, a little small. They call it a village of Cambridge. Only 2,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did a kid from Illinois?
Yeah, that's right.
How did a kid from Cambridge get into surfing?
Well, it's a good. It started way back when. You know, I'm 1,400 kilometers away from the nearest ocean. I never even never surfed until I was 20 years old. But it started back, growing up in a little small town. My grandfather, they actually started the first variety store in the world. So think about Kmart, Walmart. My grandfather came to this little small town, bought up the whole city block. There's buildings, just knocked every single wall down and had the biggest variety store. Like we're the first ones. Obviously, we didn't franchise it. That's what everybody else did. Otherwise, instead of Walmart, you would have been hearing Swans. But that's so like from my grandfather, it's always been a line of entrepreneurs. My dad took it over, and then my dad was actually my dad passed away of AIDS. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old. I have a brother that's 4 years older. My sister is 7 years older, and you know he was gay. And, you know, it was like kind of the taboo. You got to think about the years like 1985. But here's what happened is when he realized that he had an expiration date and he didn't know if he was going to live 6 months, a year, 2 years, his whole life changed. He never said anything about it, but he just went, I'm done. You could see it. And he goes, who wants to go see Europe? Who wants to go traveling to Egypt? Because he knew he was going to pass away. And so from the age of 11 to 16, I got to see what death was like and not knowing that you had another day moving forward. And so between the years of 11 to 16, traveled all throughout Europe on multiple occasions, took us to Egypt, took us on cruises, took us like all around the world. And it was at that point where I realized that, you know, my father, he wanted to see everything he could through his own eyes and not through the eyes of a textbook. And that was really the catapult for, you know, at a young age. And then when I was at university, I went to the University of Illinois. I was studying robotics engineering. I was actually a robotics engineer for 10 years before my wife retired me into this online world about 15 years ago. And it was when I was in university studying robotics engineering, I went, you know, there's got to be something more than just university and going to sorority and fraternity parties and stuff. And I thought there was only two other countries besides the USA. This is how naive and like I really didn't know. I thought there's only two countries that spoke English besides America. I thought it was England and Australia. No joke. So I went, I'm going to Australia, and that's when I went onto the beach and I saw a hot chick in a bikini. This is when I was 20 years old, and a guy, a surfer, catch a head high barrel, which is like gets covered up, and I was just like, where has this been all of my life? And I made a decision. So this was.
Hold up, you don't see the guy. He caught a. Did he eat it? Did he go under, or did he?
He got into the barrel. It covers them up. He gets spit out.
Right. And do it.
Yeah. And that was a turning point. Right when I saw that, I went, done. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna be a surfer, and I'm gonna be living a surfing lifestyle the rest of my life. I just made that commitment. Like little, you know, I mean, but I distinctively just made that strong decision, and then I just learned how to surf over and over. Came back to the United States when I graduated. I moved out to California, took a job that was as a robotics engineer. Lived in Newport Beach and then San Diego, and then I met my wife actually surfing 22 years ago in San Diego in the water surfing. And I know that you had Rhonda, the Unstoppable Mama, on probably about 3 or 4 months ago. But we actually met surfing, which was really cool.
Wow. And you know, and she was still, so you were working robotics, but you were surfing. She was working in corporate too at the time.
When I met her, she was working for Philip Morris. She was pushing.
Right.
She was like, yeah. And then she's like, that's not, and this is going to go a little deep, but she's like, I can't do that anymore. So she went to pharmaceuticals.
Right. So, yeah, that's terrible. So I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, you were better off at Philip Morris.
But you know what's so funny? I interviewed a friend of mine, and I got to tag her. I'll tag her in this video. Tashina Anderson. Tashina Anderson was working for Philip Morris when she got turned on to direct sales. Yeah. And now she's made millions in that market and stuff like that. But she had just mentioned she was working for Philip Morris, but her neighbor was a single mom. And she was like, how does she live in this neighborhood? And it's just her, and she never leaves the house. She was like, what do you do? Yeah. And she was like, I didn't know if she was going to say something illegal or not. And she was like, well, I work with, you know, at the time she worked with a company called 5 Links. But so you meet Rhonda, and you guys, it turns into Love American Style, I take it, because you find out you have so much in common. But how did you transition out of robotics into well, like I said, you came from a background entrepreneur, but
that's the crazy things.
What would be the route?
You know, when my dad was on his deathbed, and I knew that it was actually probably going to be like the last couple times I speak to him. I just remember saying that I got accepted into the University of Illinois and I'm going to be a robotics engineer. And he couldn't talk, but he just looked at me like, I think he wanted to like, what are you doing, dude? We're entrepreneurs, and he couldn't. And then an hour later, he passed away. But I saw it, and I no joke. It was like I could just see it. Like I thought you know, that's my own story. I don't know, but like he was. So we're entrepreneurial family, and I don't know. It was one of those things that, and this is what's crazy when you make decisions in life. When I was because he passed away, and that's when I was a junior in high school. So my senior year in high school, or no, it's like right during that time, I went into a guidance counselor, and within a 8-minute conversation, my next 15 years of my life was determined. He asked me, he goes, well, what do you want to do after school? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, well, what are you good at? I said, I'm great at math. I'm great at science. And he goes, do you know that being an engineer is the highest paid thing coming out of university? I said, no kidding. And right then and there, I just decided I'm going to become an engineer. And that was the next 15 years of my life. But, the transition, what happened was Ron and I, we were both corporate world, both making 6 figures, all the, cars, insurance, and all that stuff. It was like the American dream. It was good. I mean, it really wasn't tough. It was actually pretty easy. I wasn't working long hours. Working for someone else it was easy. Like I was in the technical sales, so I just learned how to sell. So I was always one of the top people. Like I had all the nerds that were really nerdy people that were trying to learn everything. I knew the compensation plan. I knew how to sell, and I just crushed it. But
and you were a people person, so it just kind of flowed.
Yeah, it was easy for an engineer because nobody got to deal with guys like me. Everybody else was, the nerdy guys and stuff. And I guess I'm a nerdy guy too, but
But you had a personality.
A little bit of personality to it. And then, it was from my wife. We just, and this is, if you think back, like the 07, 08 financial crisis, real estate bubble, we were investing heavily in California. We bought our house like in 2000, turned it over, made like a $500,000 profit, bought another property. We're making tons of like doing incredibly good, but it wasn't like because we were real estate moguls. It was the timing, and we had money and we kept on reinvesting it. And then we invested in a bad real estate development course, and bad guy, and had our name on 6 different $1 million homes. And then it was all fraudulent. And then they were coming after us for about everything we got. And we went from millionaires to, buying a $5 burrito with a debit card and getting a $35 non-sufficient fund fee. And it went from really high to really low. And at the time, when we really knew that we were finished, we're gonna have to file bankruptcy. Like there was no way out of it. The way that it was positioned. My daughter had just been born; she was 2 weeks old, and it was one of those moments that we just looked at each other and went, "Huh." It's like, well, what do we do? And I wrote this thing out about living a perfect day, and I said, it's not going to be coming to fruition. And Rhonda, back when she started, she actually started off on her own, and it was because she witnessed a woman putting her 6-week baby into daycare, and we didn't have a kid at this time, so I got to back it up just a little bit more on how we transitioned from the corporate world into the online world, and she witnessed this woman coming in, and her boss says, "You're late." And she goes, "Yeah, I just put my 6-week old baby into daycare." And she goes, "Well, if you like your job, you're going to put your baby in daycare at 6:30, and you're going to go pick her up at like 6:30 at night." And my wife was just like mortified, like, "Oh my God, this is going to be my future." And
right.
And the next day, we go check the surf before we go out for our before we have to drive to our meetings or whatever sales meetings we had. And she looked at me and she said, "I want to have a family." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, I go, "That's why we bought this 5-bedroom house." She goes, "But I'm not going to put my family, my future kids in daycare." And I said to her, I said, "I don't even care if I'm going to be my boss's boss. We're leveraged to the hilt with both of our payments going to this mortgage." I go, "Why didn't you tell me before?" She goes, "Well, she goes, "Well, you better get a better paying job." I go, "Why don't you find something you can work from home?" And this is in 2004. So that work at home thing was like, there wasn't, it was kind of like, it was sort of there.
Amway. Let's do
Yeah.
Let's do one of these network marketing things. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, no. And she got started in a high ticket direct sales personal development company. So at least it showed us a really incredible way of mindset. But that's how we got started, and she started crushing it there. Like I remember her having like a $37,000 a month, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this online thing actually can work," And that's where I left my corporate job when we surpassed both of our incomes, and then investing in real estate. We lost everything, and then but that's where like a transition from there to we've been traveling the world since my daughter, she's 13, but we've been traveling the world since she was 1 year old. That's when we were making the decision of do we stay in San Diego and rebuild, and my wife.
I want to touch on something now. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to touch on something there. This is
Yeah.
Because I'm when I do my comedy tours and stuff like that, my interactive sex, love, relationship, everything in between. That's what I write books on. But my mission in life is to help men and women communicate better in love. All right, in the midst of that, when did you know that you had a helpmate, a partner who was gonna be with you no matter what? When that hits, that's enough to rock and separate anybody.
Yeah. No,
So
and it probably should have. Like we went through a really rough time, and so I can't say it was easy at all. Making when you go from having so-called all to losing everything, it's amazing we're still together. And we went through some rocky times and lawyers, lawsuits, and then just not knowing if you want to be together. And I think also at the same time we're having the baby, kind of put us together, and now we're like, let's go do it.
Right.
Like, let's go travel the world. Let's go live now. But it wasn't easy. It was really, really
and
tough.
it was crazy about it is it's kind of a full circle. This is when the the Tarantino thing comes into play. Kind of a full circle moment, because at your father's pinnacle time of his life, he said, you know what, if I'm gonna be leaving here soon, let's do it all.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hit and you say, you know what, it's a big world out there. And you knew this, that if we can do it, and people said this all, I think I heard Merv Griffin say it one time, if you take everything from him, and you put him in a desert, take everything from him, when you come back, there'll be like a game show or a casino in the desert, so, but those are the things that really make us who we are. But to know your team, how powerful was that for you as a man and what you're doing, to know that you still had your team? Your daughter's there, and she just whatever y'all do.
Here's what happened. There's a book, the Tim Ferriss, the 4 Hour Work Week, and and there's a chapter in there called the Mini Retirement. And in that mini retirement, he was talking about you can live anywhere you want in the world, and you could have an automated system or something online. And it was just like, holy cow. I'm like, wow, this is something that we could do. Like, we could get rid of everything. And like, this guy's talking about it. He's living it. And I remember like sharing with Rhonda, I'm like, what if we got rid of everything and we went to travel the world, and we already know how to make money online. She's like, no, I can't do that. And then I asked her a month later, and she goes, are you kidding me? And persistent pays off. I asked her a third month later, and I said, I want you to just listen to this chapter. And I go, to me, it makes so much sense. And she listened to this chapter. I went to sleep, and I woke up, and she was typing in Bali. This is back in 2008, and she's typing in Bali, and I'm like, wow, okay, let's go do this. And you know what? It's like one of those things that when we actually decided to go take off, everybody was asking, did we win the lottery? No, we actually filed bankruptcy. We like had to sell all of our possessions to go away with like 12,000, and then we had a business that, we got to generate income online, otherwise we're dead. It's like it was like
right.
It was like you're putting a gun, like we're doing it, but like we don't make money. We're hoes. So it was like you had to do it, and it was like we looked at it, and people were criticizing us, shunning us, saying, how could you do this to your daughter? She's going to have no friends. She's going to be broken. She's going to be all this. And, it's a lot of things. It's like just fear running into people of their own things. And they also kind of want to hold you back. Everyone thought we were nuts. Just like, like, are you crazy? I'm like, I always, when I reflect back on my father, I'm like, he got 5 years till we got to go see the world. But he did that while he was sick, and it was like, he wasn't like, we traveled, he got to see the world, but he didn't get to do it under his own terms. It was like, and I went, I don't want to do that. And I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know what's going to happen to you. I was like, let's go do this now. It's like, you're never guaranteed another day. And,
right.
So that's what really just, and the whole thing, the story about my, with Rhonda and witnessing the kid getting put into daycare, she goes, screw it, screw corporate, screw everything. We're just like, we opted out of the system way back then. We're just like, we're done with it. And we got to go do it on our own terms.
Amazing. And anybody that's y'all, I have posted all around it when I'm doing stuff and people see me looking and writing down like I'm another question. No, I'm taking notes. These are, you're getting nuggets every time we do a meet the, and this is episode 65 or so. But the amazing people, like you said, his wife Rhonda, and you go back and watch Unstoppable Mama's one. But I wanted to really, ever since the way she was talking about Swan, I was like, who is this Swan guy? This is like Swan's around here somewhere. And I was realized, oh, it's the husband, he's a surfer. And I was like, oh man, he's an entrepreneur. Oh man, he's doing this. Oh, and when she was telling me the story, everything, I was sitting there like this the whole time too. But she was sitting a little further back. But as you tell me your side of it, and eventually I have to interview his daughter because his daughter's now an entrepreneur with no limits and unstoppable like crazy.
She had a fashion brand. She generated 6 figures by the age of 11. So she's done all right so far.
So do you think taking the limits off how does that feel? I always think I've taken the limits off my mind for some of the envelopes I push. But when you step out of the system, especially now, for those that are watching now, they usually don't date them. But this is the summer, coming into the end of the summer of 2020, a historic time in history. Global pandemic, all this stuff is going on. COVID-19, uprising in the country, and to be able to remove and when you guys were looking to make, you talking about 2008, y'all went through the Great Recession, and was in real estate, and had somebody get over on you. It's enough to rip your heart out. You hold it together. You come full circle. There is no other term but unstoppable, because not that we're invincible, we know we're not, but you start feeling like anything we put our minds to do as a unit, my God, there's no limit. There literally are no limits. You shifted your mindset. Now I love the fact that you mentioned the 4-hour work week, and I think we mentioned before about some other books, but how often, or let's say this, what are some of the daily practices you do to set your mind right? I want to talk about your health regimen. I mean, you're a surfer, so you're in crazy, if you're swimming anywhere, you're in crazy condition, but you're surfing.
I'm swimming out in 20-foot waves. So like they're no joke. They're like, they kill people. But
right.
now, I'm very regimented. I actually have a method. I coined this surf method. Okay. Cause I'm a surfer. So when I give talks around the world now, it's just talking through Zoom and Skype and everything like that. But I have it SURF, SURF. So I'll go through this. The S stands for set up your day for success. And so for me, like, set up my day for success, I wake up, and this is just my routine. I wake up usually around like 4:30. I get up and I get water, what we call Jamu. I go back for a 15 to 20 minute meditation, breath work. And then I'm either swimming laps in the pool, going for a walk, podcast. And then typically when the sun comes up around 6 o'clock, I'm going surfing. And that's my day. And I don't touch anything. I don't have any notifications. Everybody knows that they cannot connect with me until after earliest, like 8:30 a.m., typically 9 a.m. So all notifications off. It's about me. And what I mean by that is that in order for you to take care of your partner, your children, your clients, you got to take care of yourself first. And like, so that is my me time, and I do not deviate from it. You're not going to be hearing from me. I won't listen to notifications or nothing like that. After I get my core 4 of, like my body, my being, my balance, then I start working on the business. And so I get those pillars done first. And then the U stands for uncover, discover, and declare. So that's when I'm like listening to some podcasts or some different trainings where I'm already focused in different marketing campaigns. I mean, I love marketing, and I love, testing new things. And one of the things is you're discovering it, but then you're also declaring it by either putting out content, making a video, being on a Facebook Live, sharing that, teaching your clients. But it's the best way to learn things is by listen to it and teach it. Just listen and teach it. Otherwise, you're listening to things and you're not putting anything to action. So that's my U. And then the R is revenue generating activities. So if you're not putting out content to generating leads, closing sales, and doing follow-ups, you're dead in the water. So you can be busy all freaking day long on doing just bullshit. It's like oh, you're busy, great, but are you actually doing things that's going to be revenue generating activities? And that's the thing. You have to always, and I ask myself that question, am I doing the revenue generating activities, or am I just wasting time doing this and maybe going on? Like, I realize that us as CEOs and the entrepreneurs, we have a team. I shouldn't be the one going behind and making sure that the funnels are optimized right. I got other teams. I got other people to write copy. I mean, I like writing copy and doing that stuff, but there's certain things I can do, but there's a lot of things where I have to play on a higher level. And if I'm not doing things that are bringing things to the bottom line, then you're missing the whole point. You're dead in the water if the revenue's coming in. And then the last thing is F is family and fun. So by 5 o'clock, it's family time. We shut everything down. There's certain things that we'll be doing on messages, but that's time where Ron and I will be having a glass of wine. We'll go watch sunset. Sunsets around here at 6, and it's family time. We do dinner. I take my wife out on date night at least a couple times a week, and it's family and fun. I go to bed early. I wake up and do it again. It's a consistent thing. I don't deviate from it. It's like it is a very consistent, regimented thing. But I switch it up a little bit, like I may not surf it one day, and I might do some other things. But I'm very strict. I don't deviate from it. I know it works.
Right, and you're giving like I said, and I'm telling y'all, I try to let y'all know. Make sure you're writing notes when you're watching the Meet the interviews, because these are jewels. But this is good for me because even my personal life, I'm at that point. Me and Rhonda talked about, look, since I talked to her to now, it's like this thing has exploded into the next level. But I'm like, okay, I have everything in place, but where's my balance?
Yeah.
And I was, like I said, my friend Tashina, she's made millions. She was the same thing as you guys. And she just in 3 years paid off $700,000 worth of debt. They're about to pay off their house. But when she started talking about the time she lost with her family, you could see her face. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to send her this. So Tashina, you can watch this. I could see her face like, let me tell you something. Balance, right, is everything to me. My time. So the fact that you have set that in order. And then I have some great friends, some great fathers who are with their family. And it's two of my friends, Keno Davis and Rodney Harrison Group. And me and Rodney write books together. Keno helped me start my entertainment marketing promotion company back in Baltimore. And one's from New York, one's from DC. And they knew each other through me. But they both did the same things. They'd be on the phone talking to me, and they get to their driveway at home and say, all right, man, I'm home. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. You set boundaries.
Boundaries and balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boundaries and balance. So you let's fast forward to now. I just saw that you have, I'm trying not to do the beard. I like the clean cut thing. But each time I see your beard, I'm like, man, I could really be a kung fu monk.
Well, I'm launching my Unstoppable Beard line of products, and it's going to be the first of next month. So I tell you, I'm gonna have to first of all get you some looks by the looks of it, some growth oil there. So, and then
I don't know what I'm good. I'm good. The now I might have an unstoppable mustache eventually. I might be the one that does the
we
what was
could
the
do
guy that
that.
used to do reviews? Gene Shalick or whatever his name is. I might do one of those and let the grays come out and do something with the mustache. But I don't know, man.
You know what?
But
And
here's
here's
what's so funny, guys. If Swan does not have his beard on, he looks 25.
I know,
So,
but here's the funny thing. I was gonna shave it off a couple of years ago. I've had it for 4 years. It used to be way down to here, and I was like, I'm getting rid of it. And my wife and my daughter's like, they're no, you can't get rid of it. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. So then the last 2 years they've been saying you got to have your Unstoppable Beard product line, and you got to do it. And I've been putting off stuff for the last 2 years, and I'm sharing this because, it's like life's not all great and gravy, and I've been like a slacker, like a lot of people putting things off, and you put it on like, oh, because I'm traveling and I got to go to these events. I finally got to a point where it's like it's COVID-19 and you don't have any excuses on anything. You're stuck at home. You can't go to like there's no excuses. And I'm like, you know what? I'm launching my beard product line. I went and I'm doing my Unstoppable Surfer Retreat. I traveled to a remote part of Indonesia with the crew, did our filming, and I'm putting everything on the line. It's like I don't want to be sitting at that point of like, wow, I had so much time. And coming out of this pandemic, there's so much to where there's no excuses. And I
none.
want to be able to like, you know what, that was one of the greatest times that we lived through. And one of the greatest times to where it's like I got to do the things I wanted to do. I wasn't traveling for once, and this is no joke. For once, I don't have to travel. And a lot of people are like, I want to travel. I've been traveling my entire life, and finally, I'm in one of the, like, if not, I cannot even imagine a better place to stay. And I'm like, I don't have to go anywhere. Yes.
You can
And now,
enjoy your home. You can actually
oh,
work from bed.
yeah, no, it's amazing, and I don't have any excuses now. So like I'm doing my beard line, and it's gonna be fun. And every single thing I do, I want to share this, guys. I think it's the most. I think this will be so powerful to help your audience. Is I talk about the balance, right? The balance being okay, my body, right? I take care of that. That's not even a problem. That's one of the 4 core pillars. Like you don't
Right.
have to tell me to get up and go work out and move my body and eat right. That's easy, no problem. Uh, the balance side is like how I'm going to be working with my wife, my daughter, the relationship that we have. Um, I've really got to work on the things of having a better relationship by just being a better person and not just taking things for granted. I think if one of, and this could be for guys or girls, but I write a note every single day to my wife, every single day for the last 4 years. And it takes about 30 seconds to a couple minutes. I put flowers around it and something that where I appreciate her or I love her for. I tell you what, man, not only do you do that for your significant other, but you start doing it for your kids. You start doing it
Yes.
for your team members. And I tell you what, your team members are people that you work with. When you just leave them a voice message, and I'm just going to share this, and I'm like, Troy, and this is not to like, I'm just like, but if I just like leave you a message, now I can't do it for you because then you're going to see it coming. But like, I'll just out of the blue, it's just like, man, hey, I really appreciate you and how you do this. And like, and you have to be real. Like, it's like, you can't be bullshitty. It makes not only their day, but man, it makes their week. They will perform harder for you. And they're like, you care. And you know what's so crazy? Is that it takes 30 seconds to 1 minute. And we're so busy on other shit that we just can't share. And I tell you, when I do that, that's one of my checklists I do every single day. By writing a note, writing a message, leaving a voice message, just tell somebody how much I really care about them. It will change your life. It will change their life. And it's like giving, right? For Christmas, you don't really care about all the stuff you get, but you get all the gifts from giving, right? That's
Right.
where the love comes
Right.
from.
The response. You're looking for the response, the giving. It feels so good, right?
So that's that. And then like my being, like the spiritual side, I've been, I do meditation for the last 10 years. I do breath work. I'm open, and it's like, so I have that. And then I have the business of, and now the only thing I can do in business is stuff that I love. And if it doesn't correlate with something that I like, I'm doing it for the money, I'm not doing it. Like the beard stuff is like one of these fun things that I love creating fun content. I got a beard. Now it's going along with my Unstoppable Surfer line. You don't have to tell me to freaking go out, go surfing and stuff, but it just goes in with what my family, my fun, and just like my whole values in life. So when I look at every single one of those pillars, then you got to look at what are the facts. Like for instance, if you like, what are the facts? Like you look at your body. It's like you take your shirt off, look in the mirror naked. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you happy? Are you disgusted? Right? And I'm like, man, I'm looking for 46. I'm feeling good. I love it. What is my relationship with my wife and my kids? I'm like, I'm having the best relationship with my wife. I'm having the best relationship with my kids. I'm like, man, I'm on fire. What's the best, what are you on for the facts for your spirituality? And no bullshitting. I mean, you just got to be really just asking this question. I'm loving it. And I tell you what, 8 months ago, I wasn't on that level. And I'm still far from it. But I know that I'm making gain weight every single time I'm moving forward with in life. I'm doing things that are really at my highest values. And the highest values are things that, like, you don't have to be told to do those. Like, those are your highest values. So.
Right. So what excites you now? What excites you now more than anything? Like in the now, like, I mean, you have a very exciting life. Most people are like, oh, how did you? If anybody's listening to this, I love the path of what you've told people, because when I moved here to California, I had a friend. Rest peace, no other way to say it. I had two friends. One said God told her to come to California. I said, then we need to stop talking, because if he told you to come, you just need to get your butt here and stop playing. I don't know what to tell you. Listen to the big guy. The other one was like, hey man, Ghost, my company Ghost Hosting. He's like, Ghost, what'd you do, man? And I said, what I did? He said, yeah. I said, I got the money together for an airline ticket, and I had to set a date because my mind, the voices in my head and voices around me is like, you'll never make it in California. You struggle, you grinding here in Baltimore, this, that, another. And I just heard something. They say, set a date.
You got to set a date.
I said, February 9th, 2008. Yeah. And mind you, the writer's strike was still going on in Los Angeles. I contacted in the industry, but nothing was really moving. And little did I know everything else that was about to happen. And I got the plane ticket one way. Yeah. I was on MySpace and was looking through Craigslist, and I send notes to people, but I also put my MySpace link in so they could see everything I was doing, so they can actually see me, not just, oh, I want to see your place, because I'm not there. So, and the place came up in Burbank. Somebody saw myself, said, I like your page and what you're doing. You seem like a great guy. My girlfriend just left, and look for somebody come in. The landlord's real cool. They'll set up. We did everything through fax and transfer. I'd never met the people before. It started moving so smoothly. Yeah. When the shift happened, and I was just telling him, I was just like, he was like, how much money did you save up? I said, I had $168 in my pocket. Mm-hmm. And he got quiet because he was like, I'm gonna save like 10,000, this, that, and other. And I said it, and funny thing is, I encouraged him. And he helped me with something on my birthday in February, whatever. The next time we talked, well, actually, we never talked again. I was trying to get in touch with him for something, and a friend of mine told me later on he died. He's 36 years old, died of cancer. No one knew he had cancer. So it was, when you say everything you've said is gospel truth. You're not promised tomorrow. What's stopping you? And your whole brand, he was like, what's really stopping you? It's like, you can't, like you said, you're still work in progress, but people don't realize, of course, Napoleon Hill been saying it for years, and other people said it. It's a biblical thing, and other scriptures have said it as well. Faith cometh by hearing, and we have to say certain things. So no matter how you feel, if you got your Unstoppable shirt on, you look on your Unstoppable surfboard. An unstoppable wife comes out the house. Your unstoppable kid is like, he's like, I guess we're unstoppable. you can't help it.
Now,
And you have created this engine this moves forward. So right now, what is the thing that really excites you more than anything right now?
you know what's really exciting me is I've been saying this for the last few years that I'm going to be a professional surfer. And now I'm not good enough to be like competing, but it's you get paid to surf. And now I'm getting paid to surf on different things than the things we're going to. So I call myself a pro-am surfer. And I tell you what, a lot of people are like going, no kidding. I'm like, yeah, it sounds cool. But that's like me being able to do the things I love and getting paid for it and having events and putting products together that involve around not just the surfing, but like the kind of like lifestyle, nutrition and stuff. I'm doing that. And I'm basically getting paid to surf. And to me, saying like it's the ultimate thing. And now the Unstoppable Beard product line, I've been putting it off, but I've been for the last 2 months going hard on this, and I'm getting my products, and we're going to be doing a launch here in the next few weeks. And you know what? It's like I don't care. I'm like I'm doing it, and it's like let's say it doesn't work out. Well, you're just learning something. But I got a beard. This is my brand. It's like
you're gonna use it anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, and it's like it's that kind of stuff that it's fun. And my wife and my daughter, they're like, yes, go do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. Like let's just do it. I mean, we have let's be real. Our cash business that's really where our money is flowing through is our branding agency. Our PR agency is freaking rocking and rolling. Rhonda's crushing it on that. We got our system set in place. We put a great team. So that's it's running, right? We got to put energy in, but now we're able to do some other fun stuff. But the thing is, every single thing we do, it leads it back into that. So because we're just getting eyeballs. So every single, I always look at when I'm moving forward on something, is it actually bringing us, even if that doesn't work, the things I'm learning out of it in like Amazon and the Google and the YouTube and product, the e-com, that's been a thing to where I wanted to go with Hanale's clothing line and stuff. So I'm learning it here. So it's like every single thing I'm doing, it will, even if it doesn't technically work the way I want to, it's going to help in all areas of our other businesses. So
right.
So when I look at that, it's like going, okay, well, it's crossing off this. Like, for instance, when we went back, we went to for my Unstoppable Surfer retreat to go stake out a place, and I shot film. I'm like, I got injured 2 days before, and I tore my hamstring on a big. It was gnarly, but like the guy that came with me, he is a strength coach, works with some of the All Blacks for rugby, and like he gets people from injury onto the playing field. So he looked at my freaking chair, all black and blue. People were like telling me on Instagram and stuff, they're like, you're going to be out for a couple months, rest it. He goes, we're going to get you surfing in 7 freaking days. And I'm like, oh, no, it hurts like crazy. And we worked.
Don't touch me.
Don't
touch me. It's like, lay down.
Now, 7 days, I was up surfing. And now I'm like, now it's less than, it's 3 weeks, and it's going to be 20 foot tomorrow. So I'm going to go face my fears tomorrow out in the big waves. Like, I'm doing it. I don't care.
I have to ask something about the wave, because if I'm not mistaken, if you have a 20-foot wave crest, how deep is the water under that? Because it has to carry the wave, right? It's
pretty deep where this particular break is, so you don't hit it too much. So it's usually you just got to hold your breath for a long time. So, but typically you're not going to, because it's really deep. There's another spot that I go down, and it gets pretty shallow. So when you get crushed in the barrel in the tube,
you could hit rocks.
Ground. Yeah, I've got jacked up. I'm talking about like knocked out, not completely knocked out, the wind knocked out, bloody, like there's a lot. I've lost a few lives, and so I'm
a few of the 9 lives.
But you know what? I don't want to have it any other way. I want to be going out, freaking doing it the way I want to do it. And that's it, man. I can't half-ass things, and it's like I gotta freak. I'm a 46-year-old. Like a lot of people are like, damn, I got the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds that are like scared. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's all up here. It's all up here. Train is up there.
So, Unstoppable Beard Line, the branding agency, everything's rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Any books? Have you written a book yet?
I haven't written a book. No. That's next on my thing. Like how to create your perfect day.
How to create what?
How to create your perfect day. It's an exercise that I did, and I made a video series of it back about 9 years ago. So now I'm creating Perfect Day 2.0. So that'll be the next one. And now I just gotta put the timeline and everything to when I actually get the book, because right now Rhonda's going on her third book right now. Hanalei is going on her second. And I still gotta finish one first.
Well, I want to say this because just the surf piece is giving me something that's so key, because I talked to a friend of mine in Dallas, my lady in Dallas, and this is something we all struggle with: how to shift our mindsets immediately. We know all change isn't immediate, but we can do a number on our mind, and I think it mainly comes from what you have in front of you and just doing the action. Success Principles is another book I have, and it talks about the small steps, the small things that it takes to change something. If the guy in one book says, you could be looking at, it's like air traffic. You look at it, it's a little blip, and if a plane starts going a quarter inch or a millimeter off, but it continues that millimeter off for a certain amount of time, by the time it's supposed to be reaching its destination, it's crazy. So the same thing works in your benefit. Any little thing you do towards it daily. What are some things that someone can do? They're like, oh, I'm not surfing. I don't know about this health thing. I don't know about this. What are some little things that people can do daily to change their whole shit? to really.
I'm gonna go back to that note thing. That's gonna be the biggest thing. Just write a note.
The note. Right,
yeah,
write a note.
That little thing will change things just so dramatically in you and in the people.
And do you write notes to yourself too?
I do a thing. I work through different problems and stuff, and I do different gratitude things. I have a gratitude journal. So yeah, I have that, but then also about others. So that's a big thing. It's not like, if I was to say, hey, go out and run like 10 miles a day, like if somebody was to tell me to do that, I'd be like, heck no. It's not, what you need to, or like what other people do. Is what can you sustain? And it's doing things just, like you don't notice, like if, let's say, like for instance, I'm on a like in certain people, like I have certain people that are vegetarians. Right now I'm going on a carnivore diet, and I'm just testing things out. But like, I'm keeping really strict to different things, and it's like, if you really start keeping strict, like, you don't have to be strict, but when you're doing things, like, might as well just like freaking not just half-ass things. And it's like just little things to where it's like, well, if you can't do it today, it's like start tomorrow. And it's never too late. It's like it's interesting when people are like back in 08, 09, and or 07, 08, when we lost everything. I was like, yeah, you better get online. And then, it's like we lost everything. They're kind of like, I told you so. But ever since then, like there's so much that the internet and the online world is still just getting started. And when people, like, if they haven't realized it by now, within month 4 or 5 of this pandemic, like, and, businesses just going out of business, like going, you have to do something online. It's like, now it's not a matter of like, you should. You got it. Like, start somewhere. Start learning something. Don't sit at home just like, for instance, people are like, oh, when is this, pandemic going to be over? When's this, like, start freaking just learning something new. Start learning some Facebook ads. Start learning some YouTube ads. Start learning to write some copy. Learn how to just learn something and start applying it. because you're going to need to. And if you haven't figured it out yet, then you're in that whole media world.
Stuck. Brian Swan, what? Not keep you long. I know it's the day's just starting for you. So, well, the day's in its second half for you because you've been up since what? What time do you get up before the sun rises?
I was up since 4 a.m. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I got a business meeting that's coming over, making us all legal for all of our projects in Indonesia. So as of today, we're gonna be like full legal Indonesia with our PMAs, and it's a lot of great things happening. Now it's like so fun.
Awesome. So what's one of, are you guys looking to do any brick and mortar type business in Indonesia, or what are you looking to do there?
Yeah, this is the way I look at things right now. This is the time to there's fire sales on everything. Everything's on sale. It's coronavirus.
Right.
It's a coronavirus sale. So there's going to be distressed places, villas, businesses, and and it's like this is the time to where you purchase things. So
right
there, I'm keeping my eyes. And it's still like the bleeding and it's just what it is. The bleeding hasn't all the way kicked in yet.
Right.
Wait till what's going to be happening in 3-4 months, another 6 months, even a year. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Like, I don't see it getting any better before it's getting worse. And for me, I'm keeping my own path. Our business has been thriving during this because we're setting ourselves up. It's like we learned this a long time ago that this internet thing's not going anywhere. Now it's like
it's the necessity for everyone.
You have to, and then making your system. So I'm personally, there's a lot of things that are going to be happening, and they'll just be coming to us. And a lot of properties I call Bali home. It's a special place.
I'm bigging up a lot of people. I'm saying, look, I told my friend and telling my other people, I was like, we're going to go to Indonesia soon. I'm just letting everybody know we got to get out there to the retreat.
It's amazing out here, man. It's like it's amazing. It's unbelievable. They open up on September 11th.
Right. What, September?
September 11th. Interesting day for USA, but the borders open on September 11th.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay. I know you guys were looking to have y'all were set to have something in September initially, weren't you?
We've always had something in September. We're gonna like now we're doing some local events. Bringing some really high-end business Bali.
I've been seeing that. I've been so jealous. I'm like, who are these people that are in Indonesia? They're interviewing these people.
Now there's quite a solid crew here, and now that it's like kind of line the lockdown, we got nice little alliances with some strong, good, valued people, and you kind of just got to maneuver and figure out who's good people, who's not. It's like a dance, right? You're just kind of dancing. Right. Certain times you're like, the dance is over, and then move on to the next dance.
Oh, I'm good. My feet hurt.
Yeah.
Brian Swan, thank you, brother. Any things for the people before you get out of here, and let everybody know how to get in touch with you?
Well, the biggest thing is take the action. Don't wait for another day, man. You're never guaranteed another day. It's just stop putting off that thing. You're in the pandemic. You have no excuses. That's it.
Right.
For that. I'm gonna say unstoppablebeard.com. So it's not officially. It's going to unstoppablefamily.com for right now, but I'm just going full on, and I'm committed to it. And so it's gonna be fun. I got a really good key maker that helped start another beard company, and we got all the products formulated, and so it's gonna be cool. And I like the marketing side of the world and how it thinks. So this is gonna be a fun one for me. Like, it's gonna be fun.
And it's a key time because everybody wants to sport the beard, but you gotta have an unstoppable beard. So we're gonna see what rocks and roll from it.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Taking a minute in your.
I'm grateful that you had me on tonight. And,
all right. What's you got to give me the greeting again, and you got to give me the salutation, the goodbye. What's the greeting that you
I told you good morning, which is Salamat Pagi, and
Salamat.
Salamat Pagi, which is good morning. Salamat Pagi, and then I'm gonna say Semoga hari ini baik-baik saja. So it's like have a good day.
Semoga hari ini hakata.
Semoga hari ini baik-baik saja.
Semoga hari ini
baik-baik saja. Yeah.
Okay. We'll practice that later.
Let's hear that later. All right.
Love you, bro. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Man. All right.
Talk to you soon.